So good afternoon, everybody. We've had a lunch, and we might be feeling a little bit tired. And before lunch, Michael very beautifully acted how he thinks the industry is, carrying his rebar over his shoulder. And I'm going to describe the industry in a different way with music. I can't listen to all of it because it is just horrible, absolutely horrible. We as an industry, as John touched upon a little bit earlier, are very much like an orchestra without a conductor. We have violinists, we have woodwinds, we have loads of different instruments that we are all responsible for, and we might be good at that job, or we might be bad at that job, but we are siloed in that job. And when we come together as a group, we do build something, we do deliver some sort of project, but it is definitely not refined, and it is definitely not tuned. And this is really simple because we, as an industry, are not aligned in what we want. And that's because the big elephant in the room for us is that everybody today wants something different. And those differences are quite specific or quite broad, depending upon where you are in the world. And we just heard that France is 1 or 2 years behind, so they want something different to maybe what we want in Northern Europe. In the US, they want imperial, not metric. In some countries, we want different languages. So even that as a basic set is a different set of parameters that we have to try and deliver. But as we've also said this morning with Ika on stage, is that we also all work for the same person. All of us earn money from the client, either directly or indirectly. In the end, the person paying for the building or the road or the railway pays us. That's how we have built our industry. So the question that I'm proposing is, do we need a standard? Now, we need to standardize the way we do things, but do we need to create a global, all-seeing standard for the way that we deliver data into construction? And as a human species, we're really quite rubbish at creating standards. How many people travels around with a power adapter when you go to different countries? I've got one of those cool ones that has like different plugs with USBs in the top. We now have USB-C on Apple. We are really bad at agreeing something really simple, such as power. Who here drives a car? As an English person, 2/3 of you drive on the wrong side of the road. I think you'll actually find you should be driving on the left, not the right. That is a really simple standard that we have not agreed upon at all. The French in the building, put your hand up. Where are you? It's your fault that we drive on the right, actually. Napoleon changed it. During the French Revolution, we were all originally on the left. So we make these decisions and we make different standards. And if we all think there's going to be one global standard for BIM, then you are crazy. So we have the untapped potential, really, because we have to either accept that this is not going to happen and go about it a different way, or wait. And waiting is definitely not going to work. We heard 3-4 different speakers before lunch talk about their digital twin. And today, achieving a digital twin, or one model, as GAFCON stated, is actually really, really hard. And we need to achieve this, and at the moment we're doing it manually, but we need to do it faster, better, and quicker through the creation of what we are calling a data foundation. We all have databases. We all use varying different databases, but they are siloed. They're not really speaking to each other very well. Some people are already doing this, but most of us are not. And let's be honest, if you have a database that you're not sharing, all you've got is just a digital filing cabinet. You have nothing else. You might as well just stick with paper because you're not really helping yourselves. The process of somebody inside your own organization is like going to a filing cabinet to find out information. Unless you are in that office, you can't find the information that you need to help that process later on. And as we already discussed today, again, apparently it's 50 times we have to flatten out this information because we're not connecting it. The first step of creating that data foundation will be shown tomorrow. Our friends at InRiver and Every are going to show us how to bring PIM information into BIMobject. And that's kind of the first step on really how we can start achieving the goal, which is the digital twin, and moving forward with where we want to go. We spoke a lot about the ecosystem, the API. And I find this really exciting. I was speaking at lunch with a couple of people about how fast BIMobject has moved since last year. And I would say that is probably because not only do we have excellent staff internally who are standing at the back, is because we've started to talk about API and ecosystem. So we can find other experts to help us create the perfect ecosystem and have that perfect data flow from different organizations. And that's what we need. We need to break down those barriers, and we need to share everything. We need to share everything. Every information about every product that you have in your database, we need to share it. And we need to share it with each other so we can get to that goal that we need. So how do we build a data foundation? And what are we doing helping people building those data foundations? So first of all, we're taking all that information out of the hard drive, out of the server, and bringing it into the cloud. We are convincing and telling people that they need to use and think beyond one file type. Move beyond proprietary. Think about what people are using today, but also think about what people are going to be using tomorrow. How are we going to use AR and VR? How are we going to get from the place we are today to the place we are tomorrow? And the BIM script process will solve those problems because it's beyond proprietary software. It is an ability for us to use some really cool, amazing techniques to get information into any format which appears over the next 20, 50, 100 years. I've stolen this from Michael from this morning. By using this information, by creating a standard, companies are and clients are creating this. We are working with a number of companies all over the world who are creating their own data standards. If you think about a school, so I'm going to build a school, and I'm going to build a classroom with 30 students in it. Why would I want an architect to redesign the school for 30 students every time? I, as a government, have been building schools for the past 50 years in this way. So why am I paying you to redesign the school? I should give you the classroom already laid out, like this, so you can place it into your project by default. And it's full of properties. It's full of information about benchmarking and about performance and about how this information and these products in the future are going to operate within my building, because I want to standardize it across the country. And this information is held, not just publicly, but through the Hercules cloud, privately. A lot of you can't even see who we're working with because it's hidden and it's locked down. So there's that security aspect to make sure that things are kept safe. But we can still share it all over the world. We have that complete ability because it's beyond the servers, and our databases have started communicating and talking with each other. And as we've seen with the embellishment of BIM supply, we don't have to use that proprietary software to view that information. A head teacher can now view the design of their school with the list of all of the products which is going to go into their school on their iPad. They've never drawn a building before in their life. They've never used CAD in their life. And now they can do this. And they can do it instantly, straight away, and easily. So at the beginning, I played a beautiful piece of music. And what does that mean for us talking about data? We need to start conducting it. We need to allow machines to become the orchestra, and we as people need to become the conductor of those machines. So what we've started doing is we've started with schools and hospitals and big public and private sector clients. They have started creating their requirement information, their requirement objects, their requirement models, and their requirement data. And they've started putting it up into the cloud. And every single element has benchmarking properties associated to it. We want to know the warranty and lifespan period. We want to know the purchase and recycling cost, and we want to know the carbon and energy use for sustainability, because that is a huge pressure that we're all getting today. And there's two measurements that come into this. TCO and TLC, total cost of ownership. How much will a building cost me over 50 years? Not how much will a building cost me today to build it, how much will it cost me over the 50-year lifespan? And how much will a product cost within its life cycle? I'm going to give you an example of something that we have done. I've stripped out loads of data and just giving you some really, really simple ones. So here I've got a water pump. This is an agnostic object. You can download it today. So it has no manufacturer assigned to it at all. But inside it, the client has given us the requirements, the minimum performance requirements that this water pump has to deliver. Now, the standard process for this would be that I would get a huge, great big PDF, potentially, or Excel spreadsheet of every single product inside a building, and I would give it to a procurement team. I can tell you now that we have a client for every project produces a 1,100-page PDF. And they spend 1,500 to 2,000 man-hours in Excel working out what they need to put into their building. What an absolute waste of time. Because we can use machines to work out what we need. And 9 times out of 10, the procurement team, because we don't have enough time, will choose option A. Because it's 10,000 euros to buy, not 20,000 euros to buy. But actually, that is the wrong choice for the client. The client should actually get product B. Because product B, over a 50-year life cycle, will cost 45,000 euros less. So if you work and you are trying hard to make more sustainable, energy efficient, valuable for your clients, for the users' products, and you're coming up against the, yeah, but the one that I can buy in another country is half your price, it's really hard to argue that actually it is the better thing for the person to buy. But with a load of data coming in from our databases, by connecting all of us together, this can potentially be an automated machine-to-machine driven process. And potentially, we can remove 80% of the man-hours needed. Now, that doesn't mean that people are going to lose their jobs. It means that people are going to concentrate on actual value engineering, not let's just make it as cheap as possible, we'll finish building it, and then we'll go to our next project, and we don't care, which is what happens today. So the process, the real process of bringing all your information about products is to have a data conductor who probably could be procurement, could be an architect, could be an engineer, or it could be the client. It could be anybody within the process who needs to make a decision on what we use at what stage of the design and construction process that we use. So here's my water pump on the left-hand side. And like I said earlier, I would have had to look at this in Excel or in PDFs and try and work it all out myself. If we connect together and we can read the benchmarking data inside this object, then we can go through search, we can go and look at a number of manufacturers, and then we can deliver the right product to the construction site to be used in the right way. And because it's done by machine, the machine can make lots of decisions really, really quickly until we can find the right one, which the conductor is happy with, from a quality control point of view, to deliver to site on the right time. And this is a true online to offline way to work. And it will become what is very important in part of the whole ecosystem of the way that we are. So what's next? Go and see InRiver tomorrow. Go and look at the way which we want every single one of your products that you have in your database. Who here, hand up manufacturers? Keep your hand up if you have put every single product online digitally to be downloaded as an object. One. It's because I hope that's the applause for the one. Good, good. And that's because it's hard. It's because the process is manual. It's all those thousands of man-hours. And now we can remove those blocks with thousands of man-hours by using machines, because that's how it should be done. And then, of course, what we can actually achieve is that true digital twin. Once we have done that, once we've added everything together and we've started those processes, Michael, John from this morning, Ika, and we've got more people this afternoon talking about this, will be truly happy. And then hopefully, soon, we will have an industry which sounds much, much better. Thank you very much.